All right, hey, greetings. In the name of Yahweh, in the name of authority, Yahshua Messiah, in the direction of the Holy Spirit. Uh, I came on here, man, because I needed y'all to be updated on some things that I have, as of recently, having to uh, square off with. It's nothing that I'm really concerned with, but it's something that y'all need to be made aware of. At towards the end of last week, I got an attorney, a copyright attorney, uh, a copyright trademark attorney, reached out to me and was trying to see if um, I would give consent for her to go ahead and file a trademark application on my name and business, which is the Polarity Mindset. I created that. I have built that up over the last couple of years. I remember a couple of years ago when I first started out on it, nobody was familiar with it. It was actually pertaining to my downloads. Um, and so I was going through major transformations. I had come to find out that people that a couple of years ago I was in a relationship with were actually um, trying to basically keep me in the depths of hell, uh, and otherwise find ways to put me, as they say, out of my misery, which, they were the only misery that I had. But let's continue. So the lady contacted me. And when she contacted me, she asked me that if I agreed, then she would go ahead. If basically it was kind of like it was it was almost, she's supposed to be a trademark attorney. Okay, for one, she didn't give any disclosure of what my rights concerning it. She was more or less interested for the man who she particularly said was out of North Carolina. She just said whoever this is was out of North Carolina and they wanted the name. Okay, now I went and did my homework. I said, well, I'm not gonna file a trademark for that because I say I've already built that brand up, you know. So she's like, well, I'll just go ahead and do that then since you're not going to. So she took that as me assenting, not consenting, but assenting to the fact that she could go ahead and file the trademark application for her client. So I got off the phone with her and I was kind of like trying to weigh my options as to what it is that I needed to do because I didn't put money, time, and energy in a lot of the things that I teach were they came up under that mantle, uh, social media, YouTube and things like that. And she was like, okay, well, as soon as we get the application and it's approved, you're gonna have to cease and desist immediately from using that. So, I did, divination. I pulled, I was trying to maybe discover something that I hadn't seen. So what immediately came to me was that whoever this was in North Carolina that wanted the name, the Polarity Mindset, was trying to do so on the slide and then try to take credit for everything I had did with my brand over the last couple of years by possibly coming on this platform and trying to call me a fake and saying I copied off of them. So divination helped me see what the roost was actually taking place. And I'm like, that's funky. So I went ahead and I went and did my research. I Googled and it basically told me that I had trademark usage roots because I had built the name up and I had been using that particular name in commerce, uh, for business and etc. So I actually had a right to it. So even though I had not did the trademark, it still didn't mean that the person was allowed to get the trademark if I was already using it in commerce. So what it actually came down, a friend of mine told me that that person in North Carolina who wanted it, because it should first, it was kind of like, why would somebody want your name? It was to steal basically what I teach in the polarity mindset, which is the emergence of moving down one central path, but balance between dark and light, knowing how to navigate the two and doing the work to help them come to what cohabitate within one vessel, your body, inside of this earth realm. So that, when I first started teaching, what I was seeing was that most people back then, they only taught either dominantly the left hand path or dominantly the right hand path. They didn't, it was no interchangeableness. Now, what made me get off into it, because I was already on the what you call the right hand, the light path. But what I did not know was a lot of my transformation had to come from the left hand path, the darker side. Deep shadow work, deep shattering, deep ego fracturing, um, chaos, turmoil. A couple of years ago, when I was going through it, and the people whom I hadn't discovered until I got on the left hand path, um, in a very devout way, and I started working with infernals, was I able to learn that my life, to put me on the path that I needed to be on, uh, the parties that were responsible for a couple of years ago of putting me into a situation to where I was homeless, um, to where, I went through a whole humiliation ritual completely in its entirety for like 10 months. And the people that had did it was people that I was completely unaware of. But what woke me up more to that was stepping off into a left hand path practice to understand how to balance chaos, how to work with chaos, how to channel chaos, how to build with chaos. And I do say build because a lot of you are not familiar that you can build with chaos. But I'm not going to disclose that here. You can build with light, but uh, you have to use certain applications to build with light, and to keep what you built in the light, to keep it, to hold it. All right. It is the same with chaos. But anyway, back to the trademark story. The person tried to get in contact with me to see if they could get it. So I immediately called the lady back and said, hey, no, if you thought that I was saying because I wasn't going to get that trademark, I'm already using it in commerce and I have common law rights. And she said, oh, well, still, it still doesn't matter. I'm like, yes, it does. I said, because I need you to give me the application number that you're filing in the trademark offices. She would not give it to me, talking about that was confidential. Okay, so now you're being a representative. I said, okay, I'll look it up online. And I did. I went to look inside the Gazette, and I went to looking it up, because as soon as they either got the number or was in the process, I was going to appeal it. I was going to rebut it because they hadn't paid me. Now, paying me is for all the time and the effort that I put into the name. And then I would have to come back out and then introduce to my followers and my audience to say, hey, look, I do not no longer go under this umbrella. This is my new handle. This is my new umbrella that I'm moving up under. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was waiting to see if the person was willing to negotiate for the name, So I was like, okay, I can do that. Well, the person didn't, and they straight up want to act like they were going to fight me, but they're going to lose money because I can prove that I've had that on platforms and in commerce for a couple of years now. Now, I brought this video to give y'all an update because there are people that are trying to steal and basically infringe upon and tear down things that I have built, only to try to make me look like I'm somebody that I'm not, you know. And I've always come on here no matter what, and I try to teach. I give downloads, and I try to come forth, and I help everybody, and it's part of my assignment. So I've never had a problem with that. But I felt like y'all needed to know that, and I will be coming back up here some more updates as well as some downloads.